Good morning. So it has been a hot minute since I have filmed a YouTube video and I still don't have a camera, so I'm still using my phone. So it's gonna look weird still, but just deal with it. So, wow, good angles there. So basically I need to do like a huge life update because I think it's been like a while since I have filmed a video, and they were mostly like, I didn't get to do all the videos that I wanted to do. Like, I kind of took a bit of like a break, I suppose. I kind of started off doing a couple of food challenges and stuff, and then I was like, this isn't me. Like, this isn't the type of thing that I'm into. This isn't what my interests are. This isn't my passion. So I've decided to just do me, and a couple of my closest like friends and my partner have like encouraged me to kind of spread like my story and the process of recovery, because as you know, if you know me in person or if you follow my Instagram, I struggle with anorexia and depression, and I've been in recovery for a long time, but it's not a linear process, and there's like kind of waves, and my waves are quite big. I don't just go like this, I go like this. And I've just kind of come out of one of those very deep lows. So I kind of just want to share what it's like. I follow a couple of groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of people in there that have eating disorders or borderline personality, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia. And whilst I don't have schizophrenia, a lot of people ask, like, do you have partners? Do you think it's possible to have kids? Can you work? There's so many questions that people want to know, because it's so hard to balance mental health and just general life. And I struggle with that as well. Like, I look at people and I'm like, how do you go to work 5 days a week? Like, mind blown. I can't do that. Like, I have for periods of time, but I just really struggle with it. And now I do full-time uni as well. So it's just a lot, and I have a lot to update on. So I'm just gonna go for a run. It's finally stopped raining, I think, which is crazy because we didn't have rain for so long, and now it's green everywhere. It's intense. It's awesome. So I'm gonna go for a run, and then when I come back, I'll kind of share a couple of things and go from there, I guess. I will talk to you soon. I keep looking at me and not at the camera, so soz, I'm a rookie. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so I just got back from my run. Actually, it was more of like a walk because I took Tully with me. So I went for a walk, come home, clean the house, and now let's get into this. Okay, so I've written down a bunch of stuff that I think people have a lot of questions about in regards to recovery, managing mental health, and how the F you are meant to function like a normal adult when you're not normal, whatever that is. So basically, the first one I'm going to address is managing an eating disorder in a relationship. So for me, I was very lucky in the relationship that I'm in now, that basically straight up, my boyfriend knew that I had an eating disorder because he went through my Instagram. And on our first date, he basically was just like, so what's the deal with it? Like, he was just so wonderful about it. Like, he asked all the correct questions, and he just wanted to understand, and he was so like empathetic and just beautiful about the whole thing. And that, honestly, like, that care that he took is like what made me fall in love with him straight away. Basically, I think I just got really lucky. So previous to my boyfriend that I have now, I was dating a guy, and I never he kind of wanted to be in a relationship and I didn't, purely because I kind of didn't feel comfortable with him. He didn't know about my eating disorder. I kind of addressed, like, I kind of brought up my mental health once, and he said some really inappropriate things, and I was just like, ooh, these are all red flags. Like, this is a huge part of my life. So I think it just depends. I got very lucky, but I think straight up you just have to be honest. Like, you can't lie and pretend, because it's not an honest relationship, and if you start out like that, then it's kind of like fake, I suppose, in a way. I have no regrets in being honest this time, and I am very, very lucky with the person that I'm with, because he's so understanding. But I understand that not all people are, especially with eating disorders. And when it comes to depression and anxiety, I think that's a little bit more understood, but there's always that stigma and that, the language that people use, like, just get over it, just think positive. And that's a part of it, positive thinking is a part of it, but it doesn't mean you're cured. So I think it just depends, on the person. Like, if you're with the right person, it should be manageable, it should be honest, it should be okay. So I don't know, I just got very lucky, I think. So, managing relapses in a relationship. Whoa. So I was actually really healthy when I entered my relationship at the moment, and I actually wouldn't enter a relationship if I wasn't healthy, because that's not good for me and that's not good for the other person. And I just got sick with non-eating disorder related things. It was actually to do with my iron. And I lost my appetite, and as soon as I started to lose weight from just like being sick, I went back into eating disorder behaviors. As we know, like, calorie deficiency is one of the major triggers for relapse, and that kind of like what switches on the anorexia. So that's what happened to me, very quickly, very fast, and it kind of happened so fast that I don't think my boyfriend noticed. Like, it just happened. And now, like, he sees photos or we'll talk about something and he's like, whoa, I didn't even notice. And that's no fault of his. It's just, like, nobody would probably notice if I didn't bring it up, except for maybe, like, my professional team, because they know what to look out for. But it's very hard. Managing a relapse in a relationship, you have to be honest. You have to understand that now it doesn't just affect you and, like, your family and stuff. Like, for me, I kind of would be a bit of a, like, shithead towards my family, because I'm like, well, you're stuck with me. Like, I can treat you like crap and you can't go anywhere. Which, again, I'm very blessed in that my family won't just leave me, because a lot of families do. But this time I was like, I can't put another person through this. Like, my family have been through it, they get it. I think they're kind of just a little bit over it now, to be honest. In, like, a good way. Like, they still support me and stuff, but they're just like, here we go again. But with my boyfriend and the new relationship, like, I could not do that to him again. Like, I couldn't do it to another person, period. And I was like, I just have to get better. Like, I have to put in the hard work, and I've been trying incredibly hard. I've been making huge progress, and it's paying off, but it's hard work. I think the main thing to do is be honest. And my boyfriend actually has attended, like, an appointment with my dietitian, and she's explained, like, she spent an hour and a half, like, talking to him and explaining the eating disorder, what the eating disorder does for me, the consequences, like, everything. And I highly recommend that. Like, if you're in a relationship and your partner doesn't understand, get them to go to your appointment, your dietitian, psychologist, doctor, whatever, because it's good to hear it from, like, a professional. Because, like, for example, I'll sit there and I'll say something, but I might sugarcoat it a little bit, or I won't express it in the way that the doctor or dietitian would. So I think it's really important to let the other person into your world a little bit. Because I had my relationship, and then I had like my treatment team, and they were very separate. It was like I would just remove myself from my everyday life and go to my appointments, and then just like integrate back into my normal life. And now it's all kind of one, which isn't ideal. It's not the life that I want, but at the moment it's working, and everyone's kind of communicating and on the same page. And that's probably been one of like the biggest things that have made a difference in managing this relapse this time, I think. I think it probably saved us, to be honest. So balancing work and recovery, and also balancing work, recovery, and university. So I'm freezing because the aircon is on like 2 degrees. So I did not do this very well. I managed uni and work and my mental health okay for a little while. Full-time uni, full-time work. Then my mental health started to decline, just because I just go in waves, like I said before, and I hit one of those waves and I ended up in a mental health unit. And I could still do uni in that mental health unit. Thankfully, one of the nurses was like wonderful and let me have electronics and stuff when you're not allowed to. But so that happened, and I think I cut back at work. No, I kept going at work full-time uni. I just went back into it straight away. And then I was like, okay, I'm becoming unwell again. So I tried to cut back a little bit, and basically a lot of stuff happened at work, and I just wasn't able to stay there anymore. I worked in mental health and I loved it. I did, but I think having an emotionally draining job, or not even emotionally draining, but just a job that takes a toll on your emotions and everything, and dealing with triggers and stuff like that, plus trying to keep your mental health stay well, or like jump back into recovery. And then university, like for me, because I'm doing like social work, so it's like I was always stuck in this bubble of like mental health, and it was just a lot for me, and I loved it. I loved it. It's my passion. It's why I'm doing this video, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It just got to the point where it was all just killing me pretty much. I just lost who I was, and I couldn't afford to do that again. So I have now left my job, and I'm just looking for something really casual so that I can just focus on uni, keep my health in check, and then hopefully in 4 years when I finish uni, I can go and do full-time work and be well enough to maintain it and work in social work, which is like my dream. I am so excited for it. So I don't know the trick to balancing everything. People that don't have mental health issues have said to me, there's no way I can do full-time uni, full-time work. Balance the issues that you have, and then have a relationship and stuff. And it's like I would still go to the gym for an hour and a half every day, and my house was immaculate. So like my life was so full and so much more complicated than what it needed to be, and it just took a toll, to be honest. And I'm just so lucky that I'm in the position that I was able to take a break from work for a little while and focus on my health. The trick to balancing it all, I really don't know. Like planning, being organized, to-do lists. Like I am such a to-do list person. I have to-do lists for everything. It's probably over the top. But if I just write it all down, it's like one less thing that I have to try and remember. If it's written down, it's there, and I can just focus on getting what I need to get done. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense. I don't know. Exercise in recovery. Woo-hoo. Isn't that a topic? And probably for people that follow me on Instagram or like are in my everyday life, I struggle with exercise. I will over exercise. I use it to cope with borderline personality, anxiety, OCD, and also then it goes into my eating disorder and coping with thoughts, food, calories, all that stuff. For me personally, and my dietitian agrees, if I can cap my exercise at a certain amount that's not over the top, I'm allowed to do it if I'm medically safe enough to, because it does help me cope with the borderline personality, the OCD, the anxiety. It just keeps it all at a level that I can manage it. It's how I cope with stress, essentially, because if I don't have an outlet, I lose it. I will do very harmful things, and it's just let me go for a run and it's much easier. For some people, exercise is not okay in recovery. I think it's a really individual thing. For me, there was a period where I wasn't allowed to even go on a walk. So it depends on where you're at mentally, where you're at physically, everything really. At the moment, I'm probably doing too much exercise. Well, I am doing too much exercise, and I know that. And I don't recommend it. It's not smart in recovery, because I'm eating more, but I'm coping because I'm over exercising. So there's I need to work on that, because I need to have a healthy balance of everything, which, as we know, a lot of people aren't very good at, that struggle with mental health. It's always kind of one or the other, all or nothing, which, great. Medication. Okay. Medication. I think I'm not a professional either. I think I am, but I'm not. So medication, I think, is a yes. For me personally, I am the most non-compliant person with medication. I am a little shit with it. I'm not good at it. I suck at it, to be honest. But I recently, probably 3 months, 4 months maybe, I have started taking a medication consistently for the first time in my life. Well, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, probably 10 years. And it has been the bomb. I could not scream from the rooftops loud enough how much I love this medication. But medication in the past I have hated. And I think it depends, again, on everyone's situation. Especially in early recovery, some medication is brilliant to cope, because some stuff will just knock you out. So at night when your head is just screaming with those thoughts, you can just take a medication and it'll just knock you out for the night. Brilliant. It's not the greatest coping mechanism, but sometimes that's what you need to get through in the early stages. And things like PRN and stuff like that, 10 out of 10, recommend. It saved me so many times. But I know a lot of people swear by medication, and a lot of people want to do it by themselves and not have medication. I was one of those people that was I want to do it by myself without medication. And to be honest, for the most part, it was very, very up and down, and medication would have helped at a lot of stages if I was consistent, but I couldn't do it. I mentally wasn't ready to take medication, which sounds weird, but I wasn't. And now I'm finally ready to take it and take it consistently, and it's helped me so much. So I think it really depends on everyone's, obviously if you have schizophrenia or something, yes, get on the medication, because it'll balance everything out for you. But I think anxiety, sometimes you can manage that with skills if you attend therapy and you engage in the coping mechanisms. But sometimes you just need that little bit of a boost. It's a disease. It's not because you just can't cope. Like, there's other factors, and there's nothing wrong with taking medication. There's no, like, I know there's stigma around it, but there's nothing wrong with it. You know, the people that have the stigma about medication are the ones with the issues. So just do you, boo. Therapy. Yep, just go to therapy. Get a psychologist. Don't go to like a counsellor that went to like night school for 2 weeks and became a counsellor. No. Go and get a psychologist, or get like a social worker that has experience, or an OT that has experience with mental health issues. See a psychiatrist if you can. Like, link in with your GP. Use all the government assistance that you can, because it's so much cheaper. And your doctor can help you with that. Like, just see someone, speak to someone, even if you only go like 3 times. But again, there's no problem with it. Like, if you had, like, there's no difference between going to a psychologist and going to a hairdresser. Like, I actually have more of a problem going to a hairdresser than I do to my psychologist, because the hairdressers give me anxiety. Like, I just don't like going. But I'll go to my psychiatrist, like my psychologist, like every day if I had to. So no one's gonna judge you, and the people that have something to say, like, bye. The weight gain process is painful. Whew. I have gone through this many, many times, and look, baggy clothes, loose clothes, your best friend. Do things to stay distracted. Go for a walk, but you probably shouldn't do that. Colour in, journal, read a book, write a book, watch YouTube videos, watch Netflix, play a board game, play with your pets. I literally, like, to cope when I was really unwell and I had to gain weight, every single day I would drive to my pop's house and I would paint palettes. So I painted a bed palette, like I painted a bunch of palettes and used them as my bed. I then made a shelf out of palettes. I got an old cupboard from a friend's farm shed and sanded it back and painted it white, and it's literally, I love the cupboard. It's like beautiful now. And it kind of like holds a little bit of value to me, like, you know, I made that when I was sick, and that was how I coped, was doing stuff with tools, which is so bizarre. You know, I would do like arts and crafts. I remember I had like a bunch of wool and I made an octopus out of it. It was so weird. I got canvases and I'd paint on them and put quotes and just throw paint at them when I was angry, and I just, like, I did pretty much anything to stay distracted. And the days went quick and I wasn't as distressed because I was so busy all the time. It was weird. Or maybe do something that, like, will help you in the future. Like, for me, I find TAFE quite easy, so I did TAFE while I was recovering because like, it was something that I was interested in, and it wasn't like stressful or anything for me, so I did that. You know, like, I wouldn't have been able to do uni because that would have stressed me out, but it's up to you. Like, whoa, that was my dog. I don't know why she's barking. Let me have a look. Don't know. So yeah, just, and trust the process. Like, the most important thing is to have a team around you that you trust. I didn't get a team that I trusted until like 4 years ago, probably 3 years ago, I can't remember, but yeah, like, and I have done so well since then, although it's been up and down. But yeah, I just just trust the process. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's easy to go back, but for me, I just think, what happens if I gain weight? Like, the life that I'm living, starving or binging and purging or being depressed and not do anything about it, it's not giving me a life. Like, the quality of life is zero. If I gain weight, I get to have this whole world, like uni, work, a partner, pets, holidays. Like, you get the pros and cons. Like, it's a no-brainer. You just have to learn to deal with the weight gain, and learning that your weight is not your identity, and that's a hard part. Like, that's actually genuinely really, really hard. But you just have to trust the process. And I know that sounds really pathetic and really basic, but you just have to do it. It's not an option. I kind of had this quote when I was kind of really struggling, and it was, if not now, when? Because you're going to have to do it eventually. So why don't just do it now and get it over and done with? Because you can't stay sick forever, because the alternative is a grave. And as much as in some days you just wish that was where you were, sadly, no one wants you there. Absolutely no one wants you there. And you have to hold on to everyone around you and just let them carry you if you can't carry yourself for a little while. Like, so many times I have just been like, I can't do it for me. I don't care about me. And I've just let, like, my family and my team just literally carry me through recovery. Like, I just gave in and was like, just surrender, pretty much. Because I was like, I just can't. I don't want to engage in this anymore. And I just let them carry it, pretty much. And I just ate. Yeah, I say so much. Wow. Anyway, I don't know if that was helpful. That really was not very helpful. But basically, where am I at right now? So right now, I'm a little bit tortured. I have gained a significant amount of weight. I'm almost at a healthy weight for like the millionth time. When will I learn? I don't know. But anyway. And I'm doing it for my boyfriend, essentially. Like I just said before, where if you can't carry yourself, you have to get other people to carry you. And at the moment, like, my boyfriend is the one carrying me. Like, I'm trying, I really am, but I'm exhausted. I'm over it. I'm over the constant torture. I'm over the conversations about food. I'm over the arguments. I'm just over it. And I've literally just surrendered control to him, and whatever he says, I just do, basically. Like, I'm like a slave. If he says eat this, I just eat it most of the time. Like, unless I'm actually genuinely like, no, I'm not doing that for like a valid reason. Like, no, I don't want the 12th row of chocolate, thank you. But yeah, so like literally my boyfriend is getting me through it at the moment, and I'm 26 almost, and I should be doing it for myself. But I kind of got to the stage where if I was by myself and I didn't have him, I would have been back at rock bottom. And that should scare me, but it doesn't. It kind of just, in a way, like my eating, not me, but my eating disorder gets annoyed that I have him, because it isn't it can't take full control and just like put me in my grave, basically. And that's a blessing. Like, Alex is so blessed for that. But the eating disorder is just like, ugh. And if you have borderline personality as well, you can imagine how that comes into play, because there's like an on and off switch with borderline personality. And if you have an eating disorder that's angry at someone, and then that can roll over into your borderline personality, and then that can roll over to your anxiety, and everything just snowballs and explodes. And it just all turns to crap basically. So I'm so blessed, and I know not everyone's in my position, but I have him to carry me through, and I couldn't like shit, I'm just lucky, and I'm trying my very hardest, and I want to be well, I want to be healthy again, for me and for him. I'm not quite there yet, like my own headspace, where I'm like, yes, I definitely want this, but I know at the end of the day that's what I want, and I know there's still a large factor of my eating disorder saying you don't want to be healthy, you don't want this, you don't want that, and that just shits me off. I hate it so much. I've cried so many times about how much I hate the voice in my head that does that to me, and also everyone else. It's horrible, the absolute torture that it puts you through, but I'll get there, and so will everyone else that's struggling with anything, an eating disorder, depression, anxiety. Like, we will all get there. We just have to really put in the hard work, and at the end of the day that's what it comes down to, is hard work, dedication, commitment, and also surrendering. So surrendering to recovery, like giving it all to recovery. Do not surrender to your eating disorder, because that is not cool. That is not a vibe. So yeah, I don't know if this was helpful at all. I didn't really plan it that great. Video quality definitely not great, but yeah, hopefully I kind of want to do like more mental health stuff, day in the life of like living with mental health. Yeah, I don't know, but if anyone has any ideas, let me know, because yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching this, and if you have any questions or anything, just message me on Instagram or comment it below, and yeah, stay tuned for the next video, whenever that will be. But yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for everyone that has supported me so far. Lots of love. Stay strong. Bye.